Get your claw out of my jumper. Oh my god, you're such an attention seeker. Hey guys, it's Kaz here at Cats on Camera, and today I am doing my March wrap up. So in March I participated in the Emojiathon and I read 16 things, which is crazy, but I did have like quite a big graphic novel type binge at the end of the month. So first up I read Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. It was okay, I gave it like maybe 3.5, something like that. It was kind of interesting, it was interesting enough to want to go on to the next book, but there was something kind of lacking. It wasn't great, it was okay. I think you can tell it's like quite old because it feels very generic 10 years ago YA sci-fi dystopian, if you get what I mean. But this follows Tally in this weird world where everybody is ugly, and when they turn 16 they get turned pretty, where they just have loads of crazy cosmetic surgery and get put in a different place, and it's all about this whole concept and whether it's a good thing. Next I read Flag on the Play by Sherry Henry. This one, it was kind of a disappointment. I gave it 2 stars on Goodreads. There's just, you know, them gay contemporaries where the characters, they fall in love like that just because they're both gay. They have nothing in common. All they do is have like this physical relationship. They don't really have anything in common or talk or do anything else. And it's kind of boring. There's also a self-harm aspect in here which I don't think was done very well. So this follows Liam, who is a footballer in school, and he has a really religious family. So he doesn't like the fact that he's gay. And then there's also Cody, who is an on-page bisexual. Maybe that's a good thing about this book. He actually says the word. And it's about their relationship growing. One thing that annoyed me as well was literally on a page they were talking about like, oh, I'm really religious, I don't really understand all this, I've never kissed a boy, I don't really want to move fast. And then Cody being like, oh no, it's fine, we'll move slow, you don't have to do anything you don't want to. And like literally the next page they were naked and getting it on. And I felt like, what's the point of even trying to pretend that they were going to go slow if you're just going to chuck that out then literally the next page. So I felt like that was kind of cheapened by that. Next up I read My Mad Fat Diary by Ray Earl. This is an actual diary. I really enjoyed it though. Again, check my Goodreads out because I talked about it a bit more. If you want to friend me on Goodreads, I'm actually writing reviews now. I used to just put star rating, but for like the past few months I've been reviewing every single book, so if you want to hear more thoughts, especially when I've got like a massive wrap up and I can't really talk about them a lot, friend me on Goodreads and then you can see what I actually am saying about books. But yeah, this is set in 1989 and Ray has just come out of a short stint in a mental health hospital, and it's just about her life and her friends and boys and mental health and her family, her mum. There are so many aspects of this book where I felt like I could personally relate to. Next I read The Knights of Soil by Justin Cruz. This one I won as a Goodreads giveaway like at some point last year, and it's a fantasy. It started off kind of, I wasn't really enjoying it. The way it was written's kind of weird. The story had already happened and someone was narrating what had happened back in the past, but I kind of got past that and got to know some of the characters a bit more, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty decent. So this follows a big group of like bandits that take over a guard post because they want to get into the main city and like destroy it and cause all havoc. And it's cool because this follows the bad guys, but it also follows like the good guys, and there's this battle thing going on between them. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm really not one to ship people that don't go together. I don't see the point of it. Like Castiel and Dean, I don't see the point. Like the whole Sherlock one, the Arthur one, I don't see the point of shipping two characters together when neither of them are gay, because it's just like you're playing yourself. But in here there was two characters that were so blatantly coded as being in a relationship, two guys, and I just wanted it to be even just a little tiny bit confirmed. That's just me personally. I mean, it must have been pretty down coded, because like I say, I don't ship characters that are not together. I don't ship straight guys with other straight guys. I don't see the point. But they were blatantly coded as being in a gay relationship. Next I read Death Note Volume 6. This is by Sagami Obara and Takeshi Obata. I've talked about this series quite a lot because I keep reading like a volume here and a volume there. You all know, I enjoy it, it's good. I feel like every character in here is like 100 times cleverer and have more intricate thought processes than like anybody in any other series. But it works for this because they're all extremely intelligent, so it doesn't feel weird. Next up, I read Young Avengers Volume 1 Style Over Substance by Gillen and McKelvey. This is the first volume of like the second run. This was so good. I loved it. I loved it even more than the first run of it. Like literally, the first page I was like, why is she so badass? Why do I want to be her? Why is this so good already? And then when we went to see Teddy and Billy again, I was like, how are these even cuter than they were? They were already super cute. How are they even cuter together? Young Loki, I love it. It was so good. You can just read this straight off the bat, but I would suggest reading the first run first because there are like quite a few little bits and bobs in here that happened in the first run, so you'll understand it more. Next, I read The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Yes, this was the first time I've ever read The Fault in Our Stars. I've had it for years, and I finally read it. So this one, I feel like if I didn't already know the story, if I hadn't already watched the film, then I probably would have had a more emotional response. But I enjoyed it. So when the film was coming out, I didn't know anything about the book. I didn't know the ending, I didn't know what happened to certain characters. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna read the book first and then I'll watch the film. And then someone ruined it for me on Facebook, like everything that happens. Just never go on Facebook because people will spoil the crap out of anything and everything instantly. So I knew what was gonna happen, so I knew what would happen to certain characters. So I just watched the film and I cried through like most of it. But because of that, I didn't actually cry when I read this, which is surprising because I'm like, I am a crier when reading. But anyway, I did enjoy the story, I enjoyed the characters and their whole pretentiousness. It's like, why not? Why not have some characters that are like that? I know this book has got criticism where people are like, it's not realistic to have teenagers that are like that. I'm sure there are some teenagers that are like that, and most of the time in books, they're not pretentious and over the top and talking about poetry. So why can't they sometimes in some books be like that? So I was fine with that. I finally read it, yay! Next I read Hawkeye Volume 1 My Life as a Weapon. It was alright. Honestly, I'm not really that much of a fan of Hawkeye anyway. I've never read anything with this character in it, but even with like the films and stuff, it's just a bit lamey. I did like the fact that we saw the Young Avengers version of Hawkeye in here, so there was that whole crossover thing and talking about passing the torch of the Hawkeye-ness. There were some bits that were kind of repetitive, but I felt like it worked in the way that it was done. Like the beginning of every issue in it, there'd be like the same thing said, and then it would tell you and go through it. Next I read Leo Loves Aries by Anita Sunday. This was actually super cute. It was a really slow burn because it was like a romance book, but it was a really slow burn, like literally halfway through they still hadn't got anything going between the two characters, and I liked that. I liked the fact we actually got to know them as people first before just like instant attraction. But this follows Theo and his sister Leone, and they live together, they're twins. Another aspect I really liked about this book was the family, they were really close, and the fact that Leone is blind and it's just like a part of who she is. She's not just this person that needs help because she's blind, she's just like a person who does whatever she wants, and she's super independent, and it's just like, yeah, I can't see very well, but so what? A lot of people in the world live with being blind, so it's not this big deal, and I loved that. So they get this new roommate, Jamie, and it's this whole thing with Jamie and Theo. A really slow burn, really cute. It does get smutty. This was my smutty read. But there's actually enough characterisation and enough personalities between them that it's not just like a book to read because there's sex in it kind of thing, which a lot of smutty reads are. They're just like instant straight to that. So that's why I really enjoyed this. And then straight away after that I read the little novella Leo Top series. This is like 40 pages. Because I already knew the characters and I knew their nuances, I enjoyed it. I gave it like 3 stars. It was okay. Next I read Educating Simon by Robin Reardon. This one I actually really enjoyed. I've read 2 other Robin Reardon books so far, and both of them, they had like little sort of aspects that niggled at me. But I thought this one was done really well. There's so much diversity in this book, and it's not done in a way where it's just like 1 point for that, 1 point for that. It's done in a way that it's actually the story and the people, and they're there for a reason. They're not just there to make up diversity quotas. This follows Simon, he's our main character, and he He's from England and his mum remarries this American guy and they have to move across to America, to Boston, and he has to leave everything behind, leave his school prep behind because he wants to go to Oxford, leave his cat behind. That bit, it touched my heart so much. I felt so bad for him, he had to leave his cat behind. And I love the fact that throughout the whole book he was like sad about that all the way through. Because pets are important and we don't see much about pets in books. So Simon is gay and he also has synesthesia. I think I've said that correctly, but it's that condition where like words can have colours and sounds can have tastes, and it's crazy. So when he moves to Boston, his new stepdad's daughter has Asperger's syndrome. I don't know anybody with Asperger's syndrome, I don't know much about it, but it felt really real the way it was written. And then for Simon's Oxford prep he has to do all this crazy stuff, and one of them is help out this 11-year-old kid with their spelling to go to the National Spelling Bee. And this kid, this 11-year-old kid, happens to be a girl trapped in a boy's body. So there's a lot going on. We've got a secondary character who is gay and also black. We like seeing people of colour, LGBT representation, so there's that. Simon is really unlikable. He's a whiny little bitch. He moans about everything. He's really pretentious and snobby and over the top, but it works. Next I read Gotham Academy. Welcome to Gotham Academy. This is volume 1, and I really wish I'd liked this more. I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. I kind of enjoyed it. I probably will read the next one or get the next one if I find it like super cheap. But I really wanted to like this more because the art is so freaking good. I love the art in here. I really wish the story like stacked up to how good the art is in here. It's got that whole like cartoony type thing working for it. It's just, I love it so much. The story is like this mystery. We don't know what's happening. There's this building at the academy that's been blocked off and people are not allowed in there, and it's this whole thing about what happened in that building, and is there a ghost around school because everyone keeps hearing these ghostly noises and seeing things. So it was interesting. I just felt like they could have given us more. I felt like they tried to keep too much back for themselves to try and make you want to read the next volume, but also they should have given us more so we were more looking forward to the next volume, if you know what I mean. And last but not least, I read volumes 1 through 4 of Deadly Class. I've read the first 3 previously, I hadn't read 4, so I wanted to refresh my memory on what happened, and I'm glad I did because there were loads of little bits that I would have missed out on. So this follows Marcus, and he lives on the street. Loads of this crazy horrible stuff happened to him, and he's got a pretty shitty downtrodden life, and he gets recruited to join this school for assassins. This is set in the 80s, so there's a lot of like 80s vibe, movie and music references. It's really dark and like self-depreciating and depressing characters. It's not depressing to read, but the way it's written, like Marcus is clearly depressed and he's really sort of downbeat on everything, but it's enjoyable to read. The style in here is something that I wouldn't have thought I would enjoy if I just saw this randomly. I wouldn't know, because it's a lot different to like the really bold and clean stuff that I like. I mean, just look at Gotham Academy. But I think this works really well with the series. I love the colour palette and how it's just like really blocky and there's just different tones of the same colours. It's really good and you should check it out. And loads of crazy stuff happens. And oh my god, as soon as volume 5 gets here I'm reading it. As you can probably tell by the fact that it's a school for assassins, there's a lot of blood and crazy fighting and gruesome stuff that goes on in here, so just thought I'd let you know that. This is M for mature. So there we have it, all the things I read in March. I feel like this video is probably going to be super long because there's a lot of it. But yeah, like I said earlier, definitely friend me on Goodreads if you have Goodreads, because I'm reviewing all the stuff I read, probably going into it a little bit more coherently than I do in these videos, because I'm just like, oh, there's so much what happened in each of them. Tell me down below what you read in March, or if you've read any of these, or if you now want to read them because I've talked about them and you think, that sounds pretty decent, let me at it. Tell me down below. If this is your first video by me, please check out some of my others, and if you continue to enjoy them then please subscribe, that'd be awesome. No guys, I'll see you in a few days with another video. Bye. Yes, you're very, very cute. Now can I please finish this?